Welcome to all the Scorpio rising signs of the zodiac to your horoscope for September. Well, we are in eclipse season. It's a changeable month where we have big chapters now coming to a resolution, closing down, and new stories opening up with 2 eclipses in the month of September. We are also bringing in the equinox, a change of season. So the month of September is quite busy astrologically, as above, so below. It will reflect within us and also outside of us. So let's get into it and what it all means for you as a Scorpio rising sign. So let's open up the horoscope for September, talking about your chart ruler, Mars. Now, Mars continues its transit in Libra, and this is your natal 12th house until the 22nd of September. It's a big transit, really, because your chart ruler, Mars, is about to ingress into Scorpio, your first house, and Mars hasn't been in your first house for over 2 years. So this is a fantastic opportunity with Mars in the 12th of Libra until the 22nd of the month to wrap up old stories, old contracts, old agreements, old relationships, anything that feels unbalanced, not right, not fair, not just, not equal, not in harmony, not in flow with you. It's time to cull, purge, release, and detach. So this is like unshackling yourself from things, people, places, and faces that you almost feel like you're being drowned out or you're codependent, anything to do with institutions, especially your significant one-on-one relationships. So this it can be like a total detox transit for you. And when you detox and get down to brass tacks with your significant one-on-ones, contracts, relationships, and agreements, then you get to have a voice at the table, and so does the other. And you decide whether you guys are going to go forward with confidence, everything's all out in the open, it's okay, or whether you can go, I'm ready to close this chapter down. I don't need this. I don't want it. And you can do a lot of releasing and letting go with Mars in the 12th house of Libra until the 22nd of September. So if you're feeling, astrologically speaking, if you're feeling Mars really firing you up and making you feel overwhelmed, like you're losing yourself in other or codependent behavior, then that's your astrological key. That's your magical avatar Mars saying, look, that's enough of that. You've got to cut things off. You've got to end things. You've got to put to death old ways of being and behaving. And so it can be quite sobering and a dense transit where you start to muscle up and come to terms in a very practical, objective way that, look, you cannot go on people pleasing or losing yourself in other or losing yourself in institutions that keep you small, isolation and in solitude. So it can be quite a punchy transit with Mars in the natal 12th of Libra until the 22nd of September. But what's the positive spin on this is that 12th house is where we can close cycles down. We can end them. It's self-sabotaging behavior where we drop into places and engage with things that we know are taking us out of balance, taking us away from feeling centered and harmonized within. So do what you need to do now for the first 3 weeks of the month of September in relation to being okay with not being okay, of being lost in the source, losing yourself in other contracts and institutions that you know aren't serving you. They don't help you have agency. So it's really good for the big purge, the big release, the big detox, and just go, I'm done. I need to close and shut this down because I'm ready for something new. I need to feel my best. I need to feel autonomous, independent, strong. That doesn't mean cutting your nose off to spite your face by, throwing the baby out with the bathwater with all your relationships, contracts, and agreements and institutions. But it is about being individual while you are connected with other. And so it's a big transit. It's nothing to sneeze about, that's for sure, astrologically speaking. Because on the 22nd of the month, your chart ruler Mars ingresses into the natal first house. And this is all systems go. Brand new, you trying on Emperor's new clothes and knowing that you're the sovereign one here. You're in control. You have complete ownership over your own life. You're literally the captain of your ship. So you're setting the stage for another 2-year cycle that begins on the 22nd of September. So the astrology is really helping the Scorpio rising signs get things just, fair, right, and balanced. So you can step into a new experience that's empowering, emotionally fills your cup, and helps you stay aligned in a very empowered individual way. It's really nice astrology. When we get to close down doors and end long chapters that have run their course. So your chart ruler in Libra, you're coming to the end of a 2-year chapter. So it's time to get tough with the self. What's good enough for you? What's your moral and ethical compass? This is it until the 22nd of September, and then it's all systems go. It's a brand new beginning for 2 years. Nice astrology. So get down to it. This is not about being a fading flower, not having your voice heard, and not being recognized. So it's great for DMs, delegation, conversations, ironing out any nuances regarding imbalance and things that really do make you feel, oh my goodness, do I not have a say in my own life? You absolutely do. And Mars is giving you the energy and these street smarts, the strategies on how to get things just right before he ingresses into the natal first house on the 22nd. So nice astrology for Scorpio rising signs, but not without its challenges. What would life be without challenges to give us muscle? Okay, now let's move on into the planets in transits. Big astrological news on the 1st of September, straight out of the gate, we have Saturn going back into Pisces for 5.5 months. So Saturn's going back into a part of your chart, Scorpio rising sign, connected to things that you create that really do lift your spirits. This is a house of children, if that's applicable to you. It's a house of intimacy and sex, pregnancy, fertility. It's a house of creativity and fun. It's where we get all excited, and we get excited about things that we create. Like we create relationships, we create children, we create intimacy with others. And Saturn's back here for 5.5 months. So, what is Saturn bringing to your house of joy and pleasure? Is the harsh realities of keeping up appearances. If you want love, joy, and pleasure connected to that natal fifth house, then it's going to take work. It's going to take time and discipline and effort and maturity to get things in flow. So, if anything that is emotionally siphoning your energy with things that you create of your own volition as a Scorpio rising sign, connected to those fifth house topics we just talked about, then this is about being mature enough to go, that's not good enough for me. I'm done. It's too much responsibility. It's too heavy for me. I've put in too much time and effort, and I've got to be okay with letting go and closing down things that do not really fill my cup. So it's going to be a pretty sobering transit. But at the very least, Saturn brings you the discipline, the wisdom, and the time needed to process things that you do create of your own free will. And are they emotionally filling your cup, or are they siphoning your energy? And moving forward from February 14 next year, when Saturn goes back into your natal sixth house for 2 more years, then what you're doing here is going through a very important process of yeses and knows what's good enough for you and what's not moving forward. Because Saturn will then go back into the sixth house where it's all work, it's all about the service, it's all about the hard yards for 2 years. So you have plenty of time, 5.5 months, to weigh the pros and cons, if you will, on the longevity, the severity, the importance, the maturity needed to keep your pleasure zone going? Or is it time to be okay with detaching and saying, that's all a bit too dense and too much for me? Big transit with Saturn going back in the natal fifth house. Okay, moving on to the modern planets Uranus, Pluto, and Neptune. For the whole month of September, they're all retrograding. Uranus officially goes retrograde on the 6th of September. Moving forward from September onwards, we've got Uranus, Pluto, and Neptune all retrograde, all the outer generational modern planets, and they're sextiling and trining one another. And there's flow and harmony and plenty of hints coming at us all here about how the future's shaping up and how we can integrate with it by taking some proactive action on being in the race and having a say in our new trajectory moving forward. So that's really nice with the outer generational modern planets sextiling and trining one another. Even though they're retrograde, it doesn't matter. They are still all connected and bringing us intel about the future and our path and how we can steer our own ship to get the path that we're going down just right for us as well. So you've got help from the 8th house, 4th house, and 6th house. So what you benefit from as a Scorpio rising sign is getting your routine, schedule, and daily life in order. You've also got your home, family, real estate, and property topics and subjects that can help you in breaking into new areas regarding maybe relocating, maybe building on more foundation regarding your home life, getting your private life in order. And you're also benefiting from the 8th house, which is other people's finances that can support you in some shape or form. And death and inheritance is also big here, where you can benefit from ending long cycles and also benefit from inheriting assets and possessions that really can support you. So all in all, your 8th, 4th, 6th houses in your natal chart, these houses are all in flow with sextiles and trines, and the outer generational modern planets, they're slow, but they're certainly giving you hints on your future trajectory and who can help you get over a line. Is it family? Is it real estate and property? Is it your work? Is it services that you engage with or that you provide? Is it your resources that you get support from other people really helping you out here, and inheritance and assets and possessions? And so really nice little lines of sight for you to engage with, to gather intel and know that those natal houses really can help you move forward regarding your own future plans. So really nice for the Scorpio rising signs. On the 2nd of September to the 18th, we have Mercury transiting in Virgo in your natal 11th house. So for the first 2 and a bit weeks of the month, your social life and your social calendar is going to be filled up very, very quickly with Mercury in the 11th house of social events, friends, and allies. This is all about, let's get together and have a party. Let's go there. Let's plan a travel trip. Let's talk about what we never talk about. Let's reconnect. Let's have some fun. So, with Mercury well positioned in Virgo, where Mercury is in domicile and he's exalted, Mercury is bringing that natal 11th house a lot of intel, a lot of action, a lot of movement, and a lot of financial aspects. the 11th house, talking about money with friends, talking about money, about your future goals and your dreams. It's just on. Mercury in Virgo with the sun until the 18th. So if you are a planner, and I'm assuming maybe you are, being an astrology follower of planets in transits, and you're trying to get support from others, this will be the transit to do it. So if you need help to get over a line regarding your professional industry, or you need a strong ally to be an ambassador for you, for a cause, or for any aspect in your life, this is the transit to do it with Mercury in practical, let's get things done and sorted Virgo. So really good for that if you need a helping hand with anything that is high tech, precision minded, detail oriented, like a lawyer, a physician, a beautician, a plumber. This is the transit to do it with Mercury in the natal 11th house. And your friends might really be quite more than prepared to help you as well with Mercury in the 11th. So, friends may be able to provide solutions or hook you up with the right people to help you get what you need. So, it's a really good transit with Mercury in the natal 11th house with the sun until the 18th of September. But it's going to be really busy. On the third, we have Jupiter squaring Mars and Mercury squaring Uranus. Okay, so the third, we have Jupiter really challenging you because Jupiter's squaring your chart ruler Mars in the 12th house. So Jupiter's saying to Scorpio rising signs on the third, what do you believe is going to be nurturing, emotionally fulfilling for the long term? And you could be at odds on the third with playing nice or trying to be okay with not being okay on the third. So it might be a little bit about you've got to give a little to get a little kind of astrology on the third. And we also have Uranus squaring off with Mercury. And what Uranus is bringing to Mercury is like a disruption. And with a disruption with Mercury in the 11th house, this can be your dreams and your hopes for the future could be a little bit challenged by something financial or other people's resources on the 3rd of September. So, not a particularly easy day. Might be a day where everyone sort of comes to some sort of agreement, even though both parties may not be ultimately getting all that they want. But at the very least, everyone's sort of got a sit at the table kind of day on the 3rd. Really interesting. On the 7th of September, we have our first eclipse of the month, and this is a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces, lighting up your natal fifth house where Saturn just retrograded back into. And a full moon is the big reveal, the aha moment of the moon cycle where we see something that was otherwise obscured. We now know, and it's an eclipse, so it packs a punch. It's very powerful and quite potent when it's an eclipse. And in that fifth house of children, sex, fertility, pregnancy, intimacy, creativity, artistic endeavors, woof, you've got a really big reveal here on the 7th of September. It's going to be a surprise. I'm pregnant. Surprise. I love you. I'm proposing to you. Surprise. One of your children get an award of excellence. It's such a beautiful full moon lunar eclipse because it's Pisces. This is about feel good stuff. It's emotionally uplifting when we have a full moon lunar eclipse that's quite potent, that gets us all warm and fuzzy on the inside on the 7th. So you might be in for a delightful surprise in your house of joy and pleasure as a Scorpio rising sign on the 7th. Enjoy. On the 12th, we have Jupiter sextiling the Sun and Mercury. Yeah, you might be hearing some really positive news on the 12th with Jupiter sextile the Sun and Mercury in your 11th house of dreams, friends, allies, and social connections. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for very good news on the 12th. And the next day on the 13th, we have Mercury conjunct the Sun. So this is a Cazimi. So Mercury is in the heart of the Sun. So that good news that you may have received on the 12th gets even better on the 13th when something really exciting comes across your table. So even though you may be hearing really good news on the 12th, on the 13th, you might be invited and encouraged to join in with that optimistic news or venture that you hear about on the 12th. Interesting astrology for you. On the 14th, we see Venus sextile Mars. This is nice because Venus is bringing you something very easily. It's a sextile. So this can be a ambition, an achievement, something within your career or professional industry is bestowing you with a very good news. So expect again on the 14th a surprise invitation that sets you up for success on the 14th. Really nice astrology. On the 17th, we have Mercury opposing Saturn retrograde. Now, Mercury is well positioned in Virgo's exalted as in domicile in its sign of rulership, Virgo, in your 11th house of dreams and goals and friends, social connections, social events, allies, benefactors. Mercury's been bringing you lots of good stuff, for better or worse, in that natal 11th house since the 2nd of September. And on the 17th, Mercury then opposes Saturn retrograde. So this day could be pretty sobering in regards to look, I know you as a Scorpio rising sign, you know who you need to team up with, who you need to buddy up with to enhance your future prospects or plans, but it might take you away from things that are otherwise enjoyable, like intimacy, children, if applicable to you, planning a pregnancy on the back burner, maybe taking time away from your hobbies because you've got something big brewing, for better words. And on the 17th, it can be quite sobering when you realize it's going to be harder to move towards that future that you deserve. And you may have to detach or be okay with not indulging in pleasure so much or things that you love to do because it's going to take a lot of work to get to where you want to go kind of day. So it can be quite dense, sobering kind of day on the 17th is what I'm getting astrologically. The next day on the 18th, Mercury opposes Neptune retrograde. It sort of doubles down from the 18th. Being a little confused about the realities of it all, could all be coming home to roost again on the 18th. The logistics and what it's going to take to get where you want to go regarding your future, your plans, your dreams, and your goals. And it may be factoring into your work or services that you provide or are connected to. Yeah, pretty typical days on the 17th and 18th with Mercury opposing Saturn and Neptune retrograde. Alas, we go on, don't we? Regardless, if we've got an agenda and we want what we want and that's the end of it, we do have to make sacrifices. And on the 17th and 18th, it becomes very real about what we are sacrificing to get what we want. Okay, so on the 18th, we have Mercury transiting now in Libra in your 12th house. until October 6th. So Mercury is all about intel, travel, finance, commerce, communication, and intellectual pursuits, research. Mercury. Mercury loves intel, loves the chat, loves to go deep, and he's going into the 12th house where your chart ruler Mars has spent quite some time, but moves on quickly on the 22nd of this month. So Mercury is helping the natal 12th house. And why does Mercury help the natal 12th house? Because Mercury brings information that has otherwise been obscured. So this is where conversations really can start flowing, and we get the data, the logistics, the analytics, we get the financial information, we get everything that has otherwise been lost in translation when Mercury gets into Libra in your natal 12th house from the 18th to October 6th. So you're an astrological notice that there's going to be a lot of processing, a lot of communication going on behind closed doors, lots for you to process intellectually from the 18th to October 6th when Mercury gets into Libra. Interesting astrology moving forward for you. On the 19th, we have Mercury trining Uranus and Pluto retrograde. This is lovely. You might be pleasantly surprised with something sort of coming towards you from family, a family member, a resource helps you over a line kind of astrology on the 19th, or brings you something quite valuable that improves your plans that you're developing behind closed doors. So expect something quite auspicious to land on your lap on the 19th. We also have on the 19th Venus ingressing into Virgo. So Venus is now leaving your natal 10th house of work, ambition, achievement, authority, your career, professional industry. Venus has been doing some lovely work for you in the natal 10th house. And now on the 19th, ingresses into the 11th house of Virgo until October 13. So Venus is traditionally in fall in Virgo. It doesn't really like being in Mercury's sign of rulership. But I'm not too concerned about this astrologically because Mercury is in Venus's sign of rulership, which is Libra in the 12th house. So we've got mutual reception going on here. Venus is in Mercury's temple. Mercury is in Venus's temple. So the 11th and 12th house, those topics and subjects from the 19th of September to October 6th looks really easy to navigate. When it comes to your social connections, your networks, collabs, your dreams, your goals, your friends, things that you do in isolation and in solitude behind closed doors, where you do the hard yards. These two houses are working in tandem with both the rulers in each other's signs. So I don't mind that too much, at least from the 19th to the 6th of October, because after the 6th of October, Mercury is going to be going into Scorpio, your natal first house. And it's still going to be sextiling the 11th. So I'm not too concerned about Venus being in fall so much here, is what I'm trying to convey astrologically, if you can follow that. So wherever the Venus transit, she wants to bring that zodiac sign love and unity and value and harmony. And I like this because it's the 11th house. So Venus wants to bring you value and love and connection with your friends, your dreams, your goals, allies, benefactors, social events, communities. Venus just wants to bring it all in. So your outside world is about to, for better words, get an injection of love and fun. And when your outside world is kicking goals and enjoying life, and you're part of the community and you're part of friendship groups and you're part of social plans and your dreams and goals, well, you get an upgrade as well with this transit with Venus in the 11th house. This is good astrology. So the social calendar is going to fill up pretty quickly, as it already has been, with Mercury in the 11th from the 2nd to the 18th of the month. And the good times just keep on rolling. And Venus in Virgo wants to bring something of substance, something practical, something solid, something that can fulfill her. So this is about really getting into the finite details of your dreams and your goals, getting into fun with your connections. Really, really nice with Venus in the 11th house. Not concerned that she's in fall at all because of Mercury's placement in Venus's sign of rulership in the 12th. On the 20th, we have Uranus squaring Venus. This is all about, do I have the money to do what I want to do? Friends might be a little bit torn regarding plans that they have with you regarding the future or social events. So can be a bit of a day on the 20th. This is about how do we navigate through this problem? How do we come to some sort of resolution kind of astrology day on the 20th? We also have the Sun opposing Saturn retrograde. And so we've also got that Sun in Virgo in the 11th house is opposing Saturn retrograde. So again, this is like a friend, a dream, a goal, a social connection, and a collaboration of yours. It's going to be obvious on the 20th again that it's going to be hard yucca to get what you want because it's opposing Saturn retrograde in your house of pleasure. So this might be really difficult to separate yourself from things that bring you joy and pleasure because you've got bigger fish to fry kind of astrology on the 20th with the Sun opposing Saturn retrograde. Could be a bit ouchy. On the 21st, we have our second eclipse of September, and it is a new moon partial solar eclipse in Virgo. This one's at 29 degrees in that natal 11th house where the Sun and Venus are. Okay. I don't know if I mentioned the first eclipse of the month on the 7th of September, that full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces in your 5th house. That one was at 15 degrees. Apologies in advance if I didn't mention the degree point. So, yes, this one's at 29 degrees. Interesting. A brand new beginning, which is what new moons are. They're brand new beginnings. They're quite new beginnings, but this is a solar eclipse. So, this one really packs a punch. This is a bold new emperor's new clothes kind of new moon brewing that's going to be developed over the next 6 months in that natal 11th house. So it's interesting. So throughout the month, you've had, some oppositions of Mercury to Saturn, the Sun to Saturn, Uranus to Venus, and it all astrologically indicates like you've got your eye on the prize, your social agenda, your friendships, in where you're going with your friends, who your allies are, your dreams, and you're more than ready to almost sacrifice things that you love to get it. And on the 21st, that becomes super, super obvious to the self and whoever you're teaming up with on the 21st with a new moon partial solar eclipse in Virgo in that 11th house. So this is all about powerful, very potent new beginning that's about individuality, sovereignty, leadership, power, a powerhouse new ally dream or goal that's going to set you up. And it's going to take 6 months to make whatever you're establishing here on the 21st a reality. with a lot of hard yards ahead of you, but it's Virgo, it's practical. This is about mentoring, being a mentor, getting down to brass tacks, knowing that whatever is happening or it being established here on the 21st is going to really set you up or with others in strong, steady footing and foundation. It's got a big, bountiful harvest at the end of it, but not without a lot of rolling up the sleeves and heavy lifting throughout this new beginning that's unfolding over the next 6 months. So something quite potent is brewing on the 21st, and it looks like you're ready to sacrifice quite a lot to get to where you want to go. Interesting. Wow. Scorpio rising signs, what's going on with you? On the 22nd, we now see the sun leave Virgo, leaving Venus behind to do her magic in your 11th house of Virgo, and ingresses into Libra for 4 weeks into your natal 12th house, joining Mercury until the 22nd of October. So 4 weeks, the sun is going to be in that natal 12th house. 22nd of September, we are in equinox season. So happy autumn equinox to our northern hemispherians out there, and happy spring equinox to our southern hemispherians out there. A change of season. So the sun began its journey in Aries and it's halfway through its journey of the zodiac, landing now in Libra, which is all about the balance. What do we need to bring into balance? What are we harvesting? What are we weighing up? The sun in Libra for the next 3 months doing its magic until it gets to the solstice point on the 21st, 22nd of December. So big adjustment periods now for 3 months moving forward for all of us with equinox season beginning on the 22nd of September. So happy equinox. All right, so let's talk about the sun transiting in Libra with Mercury in your natal 12th house for 4 weeks. So the sun is the ruler of Leo, your 10th house, which is your career, ambitions, authority, moving into the 12th with Mercury. So you may be taking a break. A boss may be taking a break. You may be readjusting your professional direction for 4 weeks when the sun is in the natal 12th house. And the sun in Libra in the 12th is quite nice because being the ruler of the 10th house, maybe you're getting a break. You can take a trip. You can take some time out. You can enjoy life with the ruler of the 10th in the 12th. So, yeah, you might be ready to take the foot off the gas pedal maybe for 4 weeks, or someone in a position of authority or someone in your workplace might be exiting the door or taking a break and you've had to take over the reins, that kind of thing, with the sun in the 12th house for 4 weeks. Okay, we also have on the 22nd, very big news astrologically. Your chart ruler Mars is now on the move and ingressing into the first house until November 3rd. Okay, so this is big. Your chart ruler Mars hasn't been in your first house for 2 years. And Mars is in domicile in Scorpio. It's very strong in its sign of rulership, as it is strong in its other sign of rulership, which is Aries, which is the ruler of your natal sixth house: work, health, services, labor, injuries, and accidents. And now Mars is in the first. He's the ruler of the first house and ruler of that sixth house, and he's in the first. And so this is a lot. So what is a lot from the 22nd of September to November 3rd? A lot of responsibility on you, showing up, getting going, activation time, getting back into the groove, setting new paths and plans in action with absolute conviction with Mars and Scorpio the water fixed yin sign of Mars's rulership. Big astrology. Woo! Scorpio rising signs. What are we doing? Well, you are muscling up. You're the boss. You're the advocate and you're the ambassador for you. You may be taking on leadership roles. You may start new jobs. You may start new services. You may be connecting with new services. You may be improving your mind, body, spirit, and soul. You may be ready to shed an old skin and bring in a new appearance. You might be trying on Emperor's new clothes when it comes to a shift in your personality and your status. This is a strong transit with your chart ruler Mars in the first house from the 22nd of September to November 3rd. Astrologically speaking, working with transits, be prepared to step up to the plate. Take ownership and agency of your life and your life direction with absolute conviction and have a strategy. Be strategic. What do you want? How are you going to get it? You've got the tools. You know who's who in the zoo. Your chart ruler Mars has been in the 10th house of career, in the 11th house of friends and allies, and the 12th house of processes of elimination, weighing up the pros and cons. And now your chart ruler is in the first house, setting off a brand new 2-year cycle. Nothing to sneeze at here. Whatever you anchor into, this is a 2-year journey. Nothing to be afraid about, but you are about to start another 2-year journey because Mars takes 2 years to go through the zodiac. So commitment, agency, leadership, ownership, it's on you. You are the key protagonist here in your story moving forward and what you want. So put pen to paper, get down to brass tacks, know your moral and ethical compass. What do you love? What do you value? With absolute conviction, this is it. You're in for the next 2 years. So you've got from the 22nd of September to November 3rd to work it out what direction you're going in and what it's going to take to start those new starts that you're going to be absolutely loving, whistling while you work with a smile on your dial. You're ready for something absolutely brand new that's going to ignite passion and fire in your heart and soul. Love it. Love it, Scorpio rising. Enjoy your chart ruler Mars coming home after 2 years to you. From the 23rd to the 25th, so for 2 days, we have squares, oppositions, and trines. It's a lot of planetary aspects, a lot of talking and banter going on here from the 23rd to the 25th. Okay, so let's talk about this. Your chart ruler Mars is strongly positioned in the first house. So this is all about you having agency, being very strong. I don't think anyone's going to screw around with you. And I say that very kindly because, you know, when we've got strength and conviction and we've got our moral and ethical compass just right, we're fair and we're just. You've just been through Libra. You've got it together. And Mars in the first house for 2 days from the 23rd to the 25th is squaring Pluto retrograde in Aquarius from your 4th house of home, family, real estate, property, and things that you deal with behind closed doors. So this is you really saying, I am not interested in conflict, getting into an argument. I'm not doing or conforming to family ways, habits, behavior, or whatever's going on behind closed doors for you as a Scorpio rising between the 23rd and 25th. You are not screwing around here. So you might really be throwing down a challenging anvil to someone regarding home, family, real estate, or property between the 23rd and the 25th. We also have Pluto retrograde in Aquarius in that fourth house is trining the sun in Libra in that natal 12th house. So this argument, discrepancy, if you will, conflict, irritating moment between the 23rd and 25th can be about something from the past or something that has been withheld or obscured from you now comes into view and really gets on your goat. Heads up there. We also have the sun in the 12th opposing Neptune retrograde in Aries, the natal sixth house. Again, this is about goalposts being moved. That feels very frustrating. And the sun is also trining Uranus retrograde in your natal eighth house of death, inheritance, and other people's resources. So all in all, from the 23rd to 25th, this looks like an absolute shit fight regarding home, real estate, property, finance, things that have been withheld, obscured from your view. And it's all coming home to roost on these 2 days. So deep breaths. Your chart ruler Mars is in a very strong position in the first house. This could be you throwing down arrows of power and instruction and getting pushback or people being absolutely thrown. So dynamic couple of days. We're all going through the same oppositions and trines here on terra firma, Scorpio rising signs. But I think Mars is going to win out in the end because Mars is in domicile, strongly positioned in Scorpio. And for you as a Scorpio rising, this is your natal first house. So I wonder if you are really delivering some harsh truths that really ruffle people's feathers or vice versa. And it just is very combative from the 23rd to the 25th of September. But it might all turn out just lovely because your chart ruler Mars is in the first. You might just be pleasantly surprised once the dust settles after the 25th moving forward. Thank you, Scorpio Rising, for joining me with your September horoscope. Trust you have a great one. Remember, this is just astrology. Life is here to be lived, experienced, and your life is here to be enjoyed with bliss. Till next time, Scorpio Rising signs, you stay cosmic.